Hello witches, welcome back to the channel. Once again, this is Hectarios, and this is going to be our reading for the August 1st, 2020 Sabbat, Lammas in the Northern Hemisphere. And we're just going to get into this. And if you watched my last video, right before this, I sort of already talked about sort of what I'm psychically feeling right now with the energies. I feel like this is the real start of 2020. This year has really just passed us by, I feel, with all of the lockdowns and everything, and sort of being put in a state of waiting, and in that regard taking us off center and out of our magical will and our sense of manifesting our path and our goals and things like that. This year, with everything that's going on, has largely locked us down in that sense as well. And I feel like going forward from this day, that will not be the case anymore, at least the starting point of getting back that control in our lives and that sense of holding the reins and steering ourselves forward. So with that said, that's sort of just a brief summary of what I already talked about in the last video. Let's go ahead and get into the cards. I do want to mention too, the moon is in, the sun is in Cancer right now, and the moon, Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn are all aligned in Sagittarius. So that's really the celestial energy that's going on right now. Pretty interesting. And with that, I also feel like it's just representing a transition period, a transition of energy. Now I align myself with the Most High God and the Holy Spirit, Hecate. Please communicate the truth to me through these cards so that I may be guided for the highest good of all. Thank you, and so mote it be. Please give us your divine guidance for this August 1st Sabbath, so that we can use these energies for our highest good, greatest success, and joy. Thank you, and so mote it be. That was interesting. I almost saw the sun card in my head right then. Okay. What we do have is the Ace of Swords, the Seven of Cups, and the Ten of Swords. Very interesting. First of all, the Ace of Swords is the main power card here. So it's the first emergence of the energy of the Suit of Swords, and air, and wind, and mind, and intellect, and will. So this is reinforcing what I said about getting into that manifesting mindset, taking charge, taking control. And I guess what this is saying is it begins with the mind. Or what this is adding to what I said with the psychic message. This is starting with the mental state. But it also ties into what I did say in the last video of also spoken word and communication and sound as well. So the Ace of Swords is about really wielding the sword, wielding the energy of vibration, of sound, of your words, of your communication, and also of your mental state and the power that comes with that, of taking control and charge and focusing that energy onto something specific, to some goal, to some target, to something, some intent that you want to manifest. It's like a laser focus of that energy, and how powerful that is when you simply just take charge of it and focus it on something. You will wield this sword. But there's also a warning with this energy. It is a sword and it does cut both ways. So you have to be conscious, you have to be aware, and you have to take charge. This card demands responsibility. It demands you to take charge of it, because if you don't take control of it, it will just be running wild and you will get cut. Okay? So you do need to be mindful and wield this energy responsibly and consciously. It's very important that we do that now with this energy. This ties into what I was saying of, you know, the dormant energy of this year, of feeling locked down, of being in a position of we're all just waiting for things to change, for things to go back to normal, all of that. That really takes you out of your power and puts you in a position of vulnerability and being open to, you know, things. It's just basically saying take control of that process, take control of that energy and what you're doing with it. Do something with it. It is time to think about what you want to manifest. Think about what your goals are. Think about all of that type of thing, and set a goal, set an intention, and start working towards it. It's time. Because we have the Seven of Cups here, this is that energy I was talking about, that sort of being lost in a dream state, being lost in a state of waiting, or not knowing what to do, being unsure of what's happening around you. So then, therefore, you're unsure of what you want to do, because you don't know what's going on in the world. You don't know what's going on in the environment or what's going on around you. So you don't even know what you want to do. This energy has a lot of a negative association with this energy, but at the same time, it's also sort of, there's a positive in it too, because it is a dreamlike energy. It is an energy of creation as well. Or at least it's the foundation of a creative energy, because creation and creativity can emerge from this energy. So that's the transition I'm talking about. This energy, when left to its own, when we don't take charge of it, it is a negative force, because it leaves us feeling off-centered. It leaves us feeling aimless and without direction, and not knowing what we want to do, not knowing, you know, where to go. But if you take charge of that energy with the Ace of Swords that's going on here, and you just set an intention and start moving towards it, it creates a way, it creates a path, and it manifests things into your life through that process. And the final card that we have is the Ten of Swords. So with this energy, I feel it's just really putting a underline under the transition that I'm talking about here. The Ten of Swords is a card of ruin. It's a card of an ending happening, like hitting rock bottom, and from that point things can only change, things can only get better, because they've already reached their lowest point. I don't feel like this is so negative in the sense that it's going to manifest as something like negative in your life, some sort of devastating thing in your life. I feel like this is on that mental level. This is on that level of energy and of vibration. It's not necessarily in the physical sense. Of course, everything in the mental, everything in the vibrational is reflected in the physical, but I'm just not feeling that this is going to be a devastating event or something, is what I'm trying to say. I feel like this is an energetic shift that's happening. And it's coming to an end. The negative aspect of this Seven of Cups energy, of this feeling of dormancy, of this feeling of inertia and stagnation and waiting. All of the negative energy associated with that is coming to an end, and it largely just has to do with us and our intention to move out of that energy in a creative way and in a decided way with this Ace of Swords. So this is a time for magic. This is a time for manifestation. This is a time for spell work and ritual and setting those goals and those intentions and putting it out into the world, but also, as with all ritual, it has effect on us. It has an effect on ourselves, casting the spell or doing the work. It puts us into alignment and gets us clear on what we want and what we're going to work towards. And that's the aspect I feel that is being highlighted here. That internal aspect, knowing what it is that you want, getting clear on that, and beginning to work towards it and to manifest it into your life. I kind of do, you know what, I kind of want to pull a fairy card as well for this reading. So let me just grab those real quick, and I will do a fairy oracle card as well. So let us see what fairy we have energy to work with. That's a beautiful card. Epona's Wild Daughter. The keywords are inner shadows, nightmare, depression, madness, and growth. In the bleakest part of the night, Dorsha comes, wearing her crown of fairy stars. She kneels on the ancient owl, bearer of the hidden wisdom of the night, and, facing into the past with a clear, unflinching gaze, she holds us. We are held immobile, inwardly focused, by her comforting yet implacable, light-filled hands. She asks riddles that often seem impossible to answer at first, and yet she will not let us go until we find the solutions within ourselves. She is one of the greatest teachers of fairy, but her method of teaching makes Socrates' questions look like child's play. It's kind of funny. We must expect this of Dorsha because her lessons are about the shadow side of ourselves, the things we fear, our insecurities, our self-doubts, and denials. She is a practitioner of tough love therapy. Dorsha is the wild daughter of Epona, lady of the horse and the moon, and she takes us through the dark, hidden side of ourselves, and into healing and fulfillment. From the temporary madness of rage, premenstrual tension, or great stress, to the deeper and longer psychoses, she drives us on the journey through our internal hells. When we complete the journey, we are transfigured and transformed, transcending our old selves. We can never be frightened by that darkness again, whether our own or that in others. But until that journey is fully complete, we exist in a state of vulnerability, which is where most of us are most of the time. Notice, please, that it is she and not her more gentle sister, Lyste, who wears the crown of stars, a mark of service, compassion, and great wisdom. Dorsha's element is moonlight, the fifth element, which tempers and tests the spirit. Through her teaching, our inner conflicts and struggles become, as they are resolved, our greatest strengths. So that's the reading for this Sabbath. Hopefully this resonates with you all. Hopefully this has helped you in some way, and I definitely hope that you all have a very magical, enriching time with this Sabbath and with your spirits. Until next time, as always, hail to the witches, hail Hecate, and blessed be.